5006 Whiskey, we have no throttle.
This Piper Cherokee had an engine failure in the final. Having an engine failure in the final, so when you are landing with an airplane, or when you are taking off with an airplane, this is very dangerous because you are so close to the ground that there isn't that much you can do about it. So, to save your own life, each and every time you go flying, you have to be very pessimistic. Each and every time you go flying, you know that the engine can quit, and you have to make a decision where to go to before you have an engine failure. But of course, you're not going to know when you are going to have an engine failure, so that means that each and every time, for example, when you are taking off with an airplane, you have to look for a field to go to just in case the engine quits. And of course, most of the time you're not going to have an engine failure, but this one time, if you have an engine failure, this is going to save your life. Because I speak out of experience, if you have an engine failure so close to the ground, you are going to be so scared, it is going to be very, very, very difficult to think. But it is very important that you think, because you got only one split second to make the correct decision, and if you make the wrong decision, that's game over. So it is much safer that you make the decision before you have an engine failure, and then your engine quits, and now you don't have to think about it. You know, I'm going to go to that field over there. You can just push your nose down, turn towards that field, land in that field. And that is going to save your life.
Look at that Skyhawk traffic in sight for Comanche 7448 Papa.
Comanche 48 Papa, thanks. You are number 3, runway 24, clear to land.
Clear to land 24, number 3, Comanche 48 Papa.
Mayday, 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 Cherokee 5006 Whiskey, we have no throttle.
Doing a mayday call can be quite tempting to do, because it can give you a false sense of security, because you say over the radio, mayday, 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 and then everybody is trying to help you. But you know, there isn't that much that other people can do for you. It is up to you to save your own life and that of your passengers. So your top priority is to fly with the airplane, and then your second priority is to find a safe place to put the airplane down. And if you can do those two things, then there is a very high probability that everything is going to be fine. Now, of course, if you are capable to do radio communication or even maybe a restart checklist, you can do it. But fly with the airplane and have a place to put the airplane down. In this case, of course I cannot know this, but in this case I think that the workload for this pilot was too high. He could no longer do radio communication, but he did do radio communication. And he said something strange over the radio. Mayday, 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 we have no throttle. Normally you would say something like mayday, 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 engine failure, we're going to land runway 24, for example. But saying something like we have no throttle, for me it's a sign that it is becoming very difficult for this pilot to think, and he's just saying something over the radio, something nonsensical. And this is very dangerous, because this is distracting this pilot from flying with his airplane, and he can go easily into a stall, he can go easily to a spin, and then that's game over.
Cherokee 06 Whiskey, Roger, you are clear to land runway 24.
The response of this air traffic controller, of this ATC, this is the correct response. Short and simple. You are clear to land runway 24. This is how it should be.
Cessna 6 Victor Charlie, cleared low approach only, on the go, make right, close traffic.
Low approach only, on the go, right traffic, 6 Victor Charlie.
Before I pop, you want us to just orbit out to the east here?
Comanche 48 Papa, affirmative, just orbit at a 5-mile final, please.
Orbit at a 5-mile final, Comanche 48 Papa.
It's our uniform, Mike. We can do the same thing.
Number 90, if you want to Mike, affirmative. You can orbit at your present position, please.
Present position here, Mike.
I know it is with good intentions, everybody wants to be helpful, but if every pilot on the frequency is going to say, oh, I'm going to orbit here, I'm going to orbit there, I'm going to leave towards here or towards there, now this is not quite helpful, because you are taking up valuable time on the frequency, because if you are transmitting, then nobody else can transmit. So only do the most essential radio communication, and if you are able to, just remain radio silence, and if ATC, if air traffic control wants you to do something, they are going to contact you.
Cessna Cessna 6 Victor Charlie. The aircraft went down just over heading to your left. Do you see anything on the ground there?
Stand by, 6 Victor Charlie. You said off the right?
It should be just heading to your left, just on the ground to your left.
Okay, do you know if it was on the golf course or was it short of that?
I'm not too sure. It's hard to tell from here. It looked like possibly on the golf course.
Okay, stand by looking. 6 Victor Charlie.
ADSC showed him somewhere close to the golf course. 8 Whiskey Uniform is looking for him now.
Foxtrot November, passenger also looking at airplane as they went down. Looks like they were the street right before the golf course.
There was 0 Foxtrot November. Thanks. You just say you did see someone outside of the aircraft?
No, sir. Just saw that it was descending very rapidly, but right before the golf course.
Tower 8 Whiskey Uniform. We're going to do some slow flight on final, see if we see anything for you.
Number 8 Whiskey Uniform, thanks. They went down about a mile and a half final. If you could, you can orbit anywhere on final there and just let me know what you see.
When you are the other pilot who is going to investigate what happened to this other airplane, be careful. Because it is very easy to be distracted, because you are looking down at the ground, you are doing radio communication, so it is very easy to stop flying with the airplane, and then there is a chance that you will go into a stall, you will go into a spin. And then that's game over, and you are going to be the second airplane who went down that day, and that is not much of a help. So if you are flying with a passenger, if you are lucky to be flying with a passenger, then it is very easy. You can keep flying with the airplane, you can do radio communication, and then that passenger can look out of the window and see what is happening on the ground. And I know it's going to be very difficult not to look out of your window to see what is happening below you, because it's going to be very tempting to do that. And I speak out of experience, but be very careful, because that can be quite dangerous to do.
Tower 8 Whiskey Uniform. Looks like, yeah, that aircraft just went down right in front of the hospital. Ambulance is at him now. Looks like all the occupants are out. Yeah, emergency services are already on scene. Yeah, the aircraft is wrecked, but it looks like everyone's okay.
All right, Whiskey Uniform, roger, thank you.
No fire at all.
All right, Whiskey Uniform, thanks. Just let me know when you'd like to make the straight in for runway 24.
I am glad that everybody is alive, because landing on the road, when you're going to hit stuff, when you're going to land on the road. And hitting stuff when landing with an airplane, that is of course not a good thing. But of course, if you have no other option to land on the road, then you're going to have to land on the road. Now, if you want to know what to do in case the engine quits, in case you have an engine failure, go to my video flight training course on vintageaviators.net. Thank you for watching.